What's up, y'all? Another Down the Middle podcast. My name is Nomal.
Ryan.
And we'll be just giving you the more like the weeks or like maybe like the week and a half.
Yeah, we're a little bit early with this one.
Yeah, a little bit early. You want to start off? Or
I'll start you off.
Okay.
So the big announcement today: no more masks. The CDC says inside you don't need to wear a mask anymore, which is
amazing.
It's a great thing.
And something probably people weren't doing to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the CDC announcement. My big question is why now? If vaccines meant... Oh, only for vaccinated people. I should have mentioned that. If you're vaccinated, you don't need a mask indoors. I think 2 days ago they announced that if you were outdoors, you didn't have to wear it, but you couldn't be in a crowd. And now they've kind of done like a... I don't know. Is there an angle that's more different than a 180? Because now you don't even need them indoors.
Yeah, they actually... So in the beginning of this week, they started off with outdoors only.
Yeah.
But you still need the social distance. Mm-hmm. Now, just like today or just recently, so inside, no social distancing or anything.
Yeah.
So you're good to go.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's been making a lot of sense for quite a while, I'd say.
6 months.
Yeah. And then that actually brings me to the whole... remember the Yankees and Mets kind of segregating the vaccinated and unvaccinated? So since with that new rule, I guess they don't have to separate them anymore.
Yeah, look at that. It turns out that if you're vaccinated... You're vaccinated.
And vaccines work.
And my big question, just to cut in, I just want to know why now. The CDC has been very, very bad with this whole thing. So if vaccines were the answer to cut the mask down, then why didn't it happen on November 5th when we started getting vaccines? That's just my question.
Yeah, it's kind of, the time was kind of weird,
yeah.
I'd say. But also New York City and New Jersey rejected that, though, right?
Yeah, they said, Cuomo said no.
Cuomo said no.
Oh,
he's been saying yes to a lot of other things.
Do you want me to get my mask?
Huh?
It's in my bag. I can wear it.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little unsafe right now.
Oh, damn. Should end this.
It's all right. Let's just pretend it's Florida because Florida has a mask optional, which is an amazing sign to see after a whole year of a pandemic.
And a lot more than mask optional. Ron DeSantis has been the anti-COVID czar.
Yeah,
he announced today.
I think it's a little bit too much.
I love it. I love it so much. He announced today, or a couple days ago, that if you are charged with a COVID-related crime, so no social distancing, no mask wearing, he will pardon you. He is done with this virus.
Yeah, he's like so like I don't even know what to say about him. But
hey, Florida's leading the way. I'll be there tomorrow. I can't wait.
Let me see this tweet. You could go on to the next one if you want.
Oh, next one? Okay, so what do we got? Fauci says that, Dr. Fauci, to respect him, he says that masks may become a seasonal thing. When the flu shoots up and these different things shoot up, we may just be wearing masks forever. And it just makes me think that why we aren't doing certain things like wearing motorcycle helmets in cars, and why we... if it's going to protect us, if it's safety is the first thing and nothing else matters, then why don't we just do everything to be completely safe? Why don't we just not go around people at all ever?
Yeah, I mean, Fauci saying that, like as long as the states don't mandate it, then that'll be okay. Like, if we're fully across the bridge and everybody's vaccinated, we have herd immunity. You could make a statement like that. That's okay. But the problem gets to where, okay, now we're going back to masks, and that's going to be a big problem.
Yeah, but that would be personal choice.
I mean, I hope it's personal choice, though.
We don't do that here.
You mean exile?
No, I mean in America.
Oh. So that actually leads into a tweet by President Biden. Choice is more of an illusion these days because he stated, and I quote, "The rule is now simple." The rule.
He dumbed it down for us.
So it said, because he had a tweet that said rule and then choice in the same tweet. So I don't really know how that works. But the rule is now simple. Get vaccinated or wear a mask until you do. The choice is yours. So I don't understand how you said the rule and that then ended off with the choice is yours.
And this is the same guy who said a couple of weeks ago that he was in the Senate 120 years ago. He's telling us that he dumbed it down for us, thankfully. Thank you, Joe.
Just like George Washington.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. It doesn't seem very optional right now.
It's more like tyrannical, honestly, to say the least. I mean, it goes back to their whole video that we're talking about. Remember, like two videos ago, where we should have the freedom of choice and we should do our own research first and have, based on the research and the facts that we have or find ourselves, then make a decision based on, because everybody has a different viewpoint on the vaccine, and also the vaccine isn't available to everybody just yet, so you can't just make a statement like that either.
And it creates two categories. I mean, it's not to say that America is being split into two different sections or anything, but now you're saying that the only two options are mask or vaccine. And a lot of people don't like the mask. A lot of people don't like the vaccine. And so is there no third option that maybe coronavirus is over and you don't need the mask? Are there states that are proving that? I mean, that would help. And one thing that we spoke about before is that if you look at America and you look at people who are inoculated, people who are way under the age risk for this, people who have died from this, and people who had got the vaccine and didn't get vaccinated, so have natural antibodies, who is left? Like, a lot of people who are getting the coronavirus now are just young people who are back to real life and they're getting it. But I mean, if you look at those 4 things, why do we need new statements like this that we need to do these things? The coronavirus is over.
Yeah, I mean, so there's also goes back to the whole video that I showed you the other day, or actually like just now.
Can I do the voice imitation?
No, you can do the voice. I can't do it.
Yeah. He said.
Well, do you want me to go into it first and then you can do it? Yeah. Okay. So there's a video. It was a TikTok. So basically, this is one of those memes where there's a statement up front and then he reads it out loud and then the Law and Order theme song comes back and he gets up. It's like, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? So that type of thing. So the statement was, I'm not going to get the vaccine. So obviously he's just talking about like an anti-vax or whatever. And then he's like, okay, then die then. And then whatever. And then goes into some other gibberish or whatever. But I'm like, CDC even say something on the site. Right now it's 99.76 survivability rate across all age groups, which it's hard to die kind of from it. So
for people our age, you have to actually work to die from this thing. And his voice, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the alpha beta male thing, but this guy, he looks at the camera, he goes, "You don't want to get the vaccine? Then die then." I was like, oh my goodness, I guess someone got it. I guess someone got it. On to the next.
You must be related to him or something.
No.
So more of like a rant. So not COVID related, but going back to or building up on the story that I mentioned in the last current events video, the shooter from Times Square, he was actually found. He was found in Florida.
Yeah.
In a McDonald's parking lot. The police just pulled up on him while he was eating, actually.
He didn't want to wear a mask.
Like a Big Mac or something.
Yeah.
And then he just pulled up on him. I don't even think he finished. They pulled up on him, he arrested him, and apparently his girlfriend, very young, 22 years old, actually.
Wow.
And I think I believe he was in his 40s.
Damn.
But, that's none of my business. But she helped him escape because she had family down in Florida. And then he was ID'd at a McDonald's, and then that's why they pulled up on a parking lot.
I actually have here, they did let him finish Big Mac. And
there you go. Last meal.
Yeah, it's police reform.
Yeah, it's also, I'm sorry, I was also referring to it's the same story where he shot 2 individuals, one in her 40s, one in 23 years old, and then a 4-year-old girl.
Horrible.
No one died though, thank God.
Yeah, thankfully. Now we have the biggest current event going on right now. On a more serious note, Israel and Palestine. Yeah,
so right now it's escalated a lot within the past, I guess, 36 hours.
Yeah.
Israel has started to have ground troops. So there's troops on the ground going
plus airstrikes.
Plus airstrikes. Yeah. Airstrikes are constant. So now they added ground troops, and now they're just fighting in Gaza. And then along with that, the U.S. pulled out 120 American troops out, which goes against the whole...
Of Israel.
Out of Israel, exactly. And it goes against the whole de-escalation thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what Biden's saying. But Biden said we should de-escalate the situation, but he proceeds to pull out 120 troops.
Troops off the floor.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like I'd love to have the soldiers back home. That's great. But also, like, how is that going to help with any de-escalation?
Weird. On to the next. The economic advisor for the White House blamed our horrible March job report on Easter, even though Easter was in April. So we talk about time traveling a little. I mean, it looks like every American time traveled and then went back to March, and April 4th was Easter, and that's why we had bad jobs in March. We were planning for Easter. We were all planning. We couldn't wait because we're so Christian. In America.
It's like I had to lower my cognitive ability to understand that. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, is that the best excuse you could come up with as an advisor for the White House?
I mean, you got to think of something. We were down. There were 7.5 million jobs opening. We added 266,000. So
1 million expected.
Blame God. It was Easter.
Scapegoat.
That's the only excuse you can make. It couldn't be Joe Biden. Now, speaking of Joe Biden, he revoked 2 executive orders. One that goes back on Trump's policy to protect our statues, and another one where Trump was going after Section 230, which protects big tech corporations from litigation. So under Section 230 as a user of these big social media sites. You cannot sue. They're not liable for what you post. Trump is going after that as an effect to combat online censorship. Biden took those two away.
Yeah. Biden is too busy helping big tech have more control of all of our lives and what we see and what we believe. And in the meantime, he's also he's doing much of that and not much of fixing the border, fixing the crisis at the border, or de-escalating the situation in Palestine and Israel, which he's also getting a lot of heat from for the Congress.
Yeah. One other thing he forgot to do was talk about the Colonial Pipeline, which cut off 45% of our fuel supplies it affected everybody. It was 45% of the fuel supplies to the southeast of America, but we saw California gas prices go up to $7. We saw North Carolina 70% of fuel gone. Some places 80%. And we linked this back to a Russian company called DarkSide. They were the company that hacked us. We linked they're based out of Russia. We know it was them. And we paid their ransom of $5 million.
Embarrassing.
Very embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
You shut down half of our nation, and then we paid you to get rid of it. And guess what? It's not even gone yet. They say it's going to be a week before we get everything back. So Joe Biden just displaying amazing strength. He is so strong. And now one thing that I think is that his excuse not excuse, but kind of like scapegoat was like, we should all be using electric cars and we shouldn't rely on these pipelines.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a weird concept for like our own country to, allow something like that and then have like a Green New Deal plan perhaps.
Yeah.
In the middle of that and, project that and then make us believe that, we should all just change it. I mean, it's a good thing. Like, yeah, it's cool for the environment. Just say, don't just,
Oh, I forgot. Money isn't tangible anymore. So obviously he would pay it.
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah.
And then like that, I guess inflation is not a thing because many of our resources have gone up in prices. So just to read off a couple examples, lumber's up 400%.
I went to the park and I picked up a stick. I got charged $20.
You probably resell it for $50. And I actually saw a diagram where just 1 year ago, so 2020 May, you could build. I forgot the amount of lumber though, but it was like around like 12 houses, and then now with that same amount in terms of dollar value, you could build 2.5 houses. That's insane.
The houses ain't getting bigger.
On top of that, gasoline's up 130%, ammunition up 810%. No one's shooting anything anymore ever again. Copper is up 130%. National debt is at 28.1 trillion. The second largest jump since World War II.
It's insane.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
And then national inflation is up 4.2%. But, inflation doesn't exist.
Yeah, because, like you say, 6 minus 0 is 0 in Joe Biden's mathematical handbook.
6 minus 0 is 0. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, because we can spend trillions of dollars and not increase the deficit.
I like 0 minus 6 better.
Yeah, right? That would be great.
Yeah.
Liz Cheney voted out from Republican leadership in the Senate. She was number 3. Now she is number wherever. What's up, Ian?
And it's Ian again.
Interrupting our video once again. But
back-to-back videos.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff.
Pretty crazy stuff.
New current event. Ian erupts 2 in a row. Elise Stefanik is replacing her as the number 3 in the Senate. So she's pro-Trump. Cheney was anti-Trump, very anti-Trump, and now she's been voted out.
Yeah, and that's pretty much all on my end. That's, as you can see, like there's a lot of main events. I think main themes that we're seeing. Obviously, the Israeli-Palestine conflict, right? That's a big one. Inflation in our country, national security with Russia, and then just like some petty stuff like Times Square shooting. But those are the main themes that I just said for the Times Square shooting.
The no mask thing is a big announcement.
I
don't know if it's coincidental that we get no masks when it's starting to come into the public eye that Joe Biden has no idea what to do about the 300 crises that are going on around him, but we can take our masks off.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a really big point that I think we're really concerned about because he hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
Like in regards to like what a president should be doing.
Yeah.
He's failed in all aspects so far, and I'm just disappointed. And it's just embarrassing to see our country like this right now, in my opinion.
The fake economy is up though, gaining a lot of points even though no one's working.
Yep, market's pumped by the feds. We're just waiting on the bubble.
All right, so that's just about it.
Yeah.
We'll catch you guys soon. Peace out.